On today's show, we learn about big plans for Pilgrim Hall Museum, hear original poetry from Tanya Peters, chat with PR professional Michelle McGrath, talk about upcoming things to do in our South Shore towns, and celebrate with Plymouth Pride. Let's get started. From social issues to superheroes, paranormal phenomena to the hero's journey, comic books offer something for the nerd in all of us. On August 16th at 2 p.m., you're invited to the Duxbury Free Library for Geek Gal Presents Faster Than a Speeding Bullet, a brief history of comics. Geek Gal is a New England lecturer who presents cultural talks about all things geek-related, and whose alter ego is Sarah Hodge Weatherby, head librarian for teen services at Springfield City Library. For more information, visit the Duxbury Free Library website. Pilgrim Hall Museum in downtown Plymouth reveals the lived experiences of those who were here before us, including the Wampanoag Indigenous people who have inhabited this area for over 13,000 years, and the European men and women who came here as pilgrims to build new lives for their families. Their unmatched collection of pilgrim possessions, like William Bradford's Bible, and exhibits tracing the interrelationship between the Wampanoag and early colonial settlers, make Pilgrim Hall Museum a must-stop for those seeking to understand our local past. But this beautiful building, built in 1824, needs rehab and restoration work, including roofing, lighting, HVAC, and exhibit work. We went on the local scene to Singing in the Rain, an event to promote awareness of the needs of the building that houses so much of our past.
Today, the purpose of the Singing in the Rain event that Donna put on was just amazing. It was just to bring awareness of the roof.
Museums, historic structures, they need the support of government and the private sector and nonprofits to be able to survive, not just to operate, but to keep the building up and in good shape.
We know the museum, like all organizations, has needs. We were happy to be able to come together as a group of supporters of the museum today.
Number one, we need to replace this roof and skylight. We literally have rain falling in this building, although we've taken some temporary measures to prevent that. Number two, while the lid is off the building, it is the opportune moment to do any other work that we need to get done. The incredible task of emptying this space of its artworks and historic treasures and safely storing them during this project represents a very significant part of the cost of the project. We only want to do it once.
For me, the museum is a cornerstone of Court Street and Main Street. So when you come down 44 and you take a left, you have Memorial Hall, you have St. Peter's, and then you have us. So this is a pillar of the corner of the street for Plymouth. This is where the history starts. And this to preserve this, my goal is that when a person in my position in 200 years from now will remember that we did what we were supposed to do to bring it back up to speed so that it would survive. And we're looking through pictures the last time we did work on it. I think it was probably about 25 years ago. And they did it right. And so now it's all right. So this process that we're going to do, the capital campaign that we're going to create, we're creating a future for this to survive in. So we're going to update everything to the point where we don't have to do it again.
One of the other important aspects of the proposed renovation is dealing with our HVAC, heating, air conditioning, and ventilation systems, which need some upgrades. You can hear them roaring away in the background here. And we've given a lot of thought to the timing and scheduling for the construction side of things, and it makes so much sense. While the lid is off this building, for us to do what we need to do inside because of the level of the work that's going to be involved for this. Also will provide us, when we're doing that work, the ability to install new lighting infrastructure. One of the most important things about looking at exhibits and artworks and artifacts from the past in a museum setting is your ability to be able to have them illuminated properly, both for their long-term care and for you to be able to get the most out of that experience. Our lighting technology is over 16 years out of date, and that's like having a cell phone in your pocket that's old. It just simply does not work anymore. So we need to upgrade that critical building system for the museum experience to be complete. And the last element, again, to complete that experience of the history that you absorb here at Pilgrim Hall Museum, is interpretive redesign. Our museum has been around for 200 years, and the way that we tell the story of Plymouth Colony's beginnings has changed significantly in that time. This is the time for us to bring voices into the hall that have long been excluded, and to provide a much richer interpretation of the Indigenous part of Plymouth Colony, as well as the experiences of the Mayflower Pilgrims.
As we've grown as a nation and we recognize the scope and the importance of all those parties that were involved in the founding of our country, it just resonates with so much meaning here.
I'm from the Wampanoag tribe, and this is sitting in my homeland. And the Pilgrim story has been told on its own. And so, part of my responsibility here is to make sure that the history is expressed in its entirety.
We have a Wampanoag advisory group to help us with our strategic plan so that the future of the museum is seen through the eyes of everyone.
I think that in itself is very important for board or visitors, anybody to realize, is it's been just one way for so long, the Pilgrim story, and so it's just time to change that narrative a little.
The museum itself plays such an important role in the culture of our community, whether it be the educational program or just the actual preservation of all those artifacts and of the story of our founding. Whether you're a young child or you're bringing up a family or you're a senior citizen, there's programming and opportunity to participate and learn more.
That hall that we were in was built as a place for Plymouthians to come together. It's hosted many, not just educational lectures, but events and entertainments over our long history. We open our doors free to Plymouth residents. We always welcome Plymouth people to come in and connect with the history of the place that we live.
Elementary school was the first time I came here. You came here, and then you went to the Mayflower, and then you went to the Patuxent museums, and this is why it's a community museum. This is what our heritage is. And it was funny about through the whole COVID aspect of it, when people were in the lockdown, our website went crazy because people were researching where they came from. And they wanted to know what their history was, their heritage. And they researched it, and they knew they could come here or look online for here and see where they came from, what part of their history came from.
To me, history is critically important, because if you don't understand what happened in the past, how do you plan to go forward in the future? And this museum holds so much of the past, of Plymouth history, and it has the opportunity and as well as the responsibility to tell that history in its entirety so that people get a comprehensive understanding.
And one of the biggest things that we strive for in this museum is to make sure all the stories are heard, all the artifacts are saved. So whether your family came over from Mayflower, or you're Indigenous and you're a part of the community before the Mayflower came here, all those artifacts are preserved, and that history is preserved.
Even more important than thinking of the building and what it takes to keep it safe and preserved, it's really about what's inside. And the resources here are incomparable. We have the oldest state document in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We have those very rare possessions of the first settlers of Plymouth Colony, the humble and ordinary day-to-day belongings of the Mayflower Pilgrims. We have a large collection of Indigenous Wampanoag materials as well, including things not just from their very, very long and early histories here before the arrival of the Pilgrims, but also their continuity over time, including things from the 19th century when the Wampanoag people were beginning to really think about their history and document that and preserve it as well. And I think these are riches that really are meaningful to everybody that lives in our region, our residents, and also those who visit it, who are an important part of our economy. We don't really know who we are until we can see a little bit about where we have come from as a people. And I think this story of Plymouth really helps convey so many important parts of that story to us in very dramatic and human terms that we can understand. So that's part of what Pilgrim Hall Museum has offered for almost 200 years. And I think in recent generations, we've moved even further to giving greater sort of empathy and significance and authenticity and accuracy to that story. It's important.
This is what we need to have. We need to have all those stories out there so people understand and don't repeat that history again.
We appreciate it. You know, we know the value. It has great economic value to the state and to the town, but somebody has to take care of it.
Pilgrim Hall Museum is a treasure for not only our country and our Plymouth community, but for the world.
We encourage and are looking for support from all members of our local community, local residents who maybe have visited the museum or members of the museum, or even those folks out there who have never visited. Come through our doors, take a look at what we have, and please voice your support for the project that we are so desperately in need of and trying to undertake. And for our community partners, we work with you all the time. We value and appreciate the work that you do for our community and for our region, and we ask you to help us now at our time of need.
Visit pilgrimhall.org to learn more. A traditional clam bake is a quintessential New England way to spend a summer Saturday. On August 12th from 4 to 7 p.m., Mayflower Brewing Company presents the Kraken Claws and Cans Clam Bake, when you'll feast on classic favorites prepared by the Lobster Trap, like lobster, linguiça, steamers, clam chowder, a raw bar, and more, with 2 beer tickets included. There will be live entertainment throughout the event and a full band performance after dinner. For ticket prices and more information, head to the Mayflower Brewing Company's Eventbrite page. Nearly 9 million seniors in the United States are challenged with food insecurity, while 15 million live in isolation from the world they've given so much to. If you'd like to give back and make a difference in your community, the Kingston Council on Aging is welcoming drivers for their Meals on Wheels program. A regular route takes about 2 hours to complete, with shifts available on weekdays between 9 and 11 a.m. If you have the availability and the interest, please call the COA at 781-585-0511. Public relations professional, vocalist, cookbook author, and fine artist, Michelle McGrath can do it all. Tiff Phillips invited Michelle onto the Open Here podcast to discuss her life, public relations, and the importance of the arts.
All right, I am with Michelle McGrath. It's so great to see you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you as well.
So we're going to get a bit into McGrath PR, but I kind of want to get involved. It's come full circle for you because you used to be here all the time. You were a correspondent for PCN. You also rented our studios for podcasting. What's it feel like to be back?
It feels great. It's like back in the home turf.
How long ago was that?
Let's see. It was the beginning of about 2016, was it, I think? So yeah, it was a while ago.
Wow, yeah. And you've probably shape-shifted so many times with your roles.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about you. Where did you grow up? What's your background?
Sure, yeah. So I am definitely a South Shore, Massachusetts girl. I grew up in Stoughton and kind of had migrated my way down the South Shore through Whitman and Halifax and Kingston, where I raised my 3 kids, and now I reside in the lovely community of Scituate.
You love the South Shore? Have you always wanted to be here?
I love it, yeah. And I also love, like, New England. I don't ever feel like I want to leave the the beautiful Four Seasons type of atmosphere that we get to enjoy here.
Exactly. You have a super big arts background. Not only are you a good cook, we're Facebook friends, so I've seen your amazing dishes,
Thank you.
beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
You're also a performer and a singer. What does that play? What kind of role does the arts play in your life?
Well, it's just completely integral to who I am as a person. You know, when I was a kid, I went to Stoughton Public Schools, and I realized I had a gift for being an artist. I did a lot of drawing and painting back then, and as I got older, I decided it was probably going to have to be my career. And then in college, not only was I in school to become an illustrator, I also really got engaged by singing, musical theater, and straight theater, all with all of my friends. So I've seen kind of the full gamut of the arts in my life, and I see how it can be so transformative to people. And so I feel really grateful that I get to make my career supporting the arts.
So what was your journey to coming into PR? What was that? What did that look like for you?
Sure. So I, after I had my 3 children and I was home taking care of my grandmother, I hadn't been in the workforce for a while. And so I looked for a part-time job to get back in the workforce. But having had a background in graphics and printing and that had kind of seen 7 years of space since I had been in that arena, and so I was kind of out of sorts with the language of the software and things like that. So I found a part-time job working in media relations with PR First. I'll give them a plug with my buddy Jim Farrell. They're still there over in Norwell, Hanover line, and I worked there for a number of years doing, like lower level media relations work, helping out, but it was primarily business and politics that they were focused on, and it wasn't my love. And I brought a dear friend and client in to meet my boss, and he was actually the one that said to me, I think you can do this for a business, and inspired me to take what I learned in my years there and apply that with my education and create this business. And it's working its way towards 14 years now, and I'm pretty proud of how it's gone.
Yeah, tell us more about your business. So who's your primary focus?
So I primarily focus on arts and culture clients, nonprofits, and small business. And that sometimes breaks into some, other sectors, like nonprofits, for instance, are often all kinds of industries. So I have some in agriculture, I have some in history, I have, they vary depending on where those clients come from. And so I'm able to apply the knowledge that I have to help them gain visibility.
It must take a special kind of person to be in PR. What kind of qualities do you think that person should have?
You have to be an insane multitasker. And you have to be extremely organized. I am very methodical about how I handle my work, and certainly at times when my work is very busy, I'll bring in freelancers that help me with the volume. But if I'm able to keep extremely organized and also apply all of my skills in a way that is methodical, then I usually can keep a grip on most of it on my own. So,
do you think you also have to be a bit of an extrovert for that?
Oh my goodness, yes, yeah. Like, of course, I think it's first of all, if you spend any time in front of a camera, you have to be that type of personality to be able to engage with people, and then be in the situation where you're able to also advise, your clients on how to appear in the media as well.
What does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, well, I am one lucky girl because, when I moved to Scituate, I had the most beautiful business desk built by a carpenter or a woodworker. And so I have a home-based office, and my kids are grown, and I'm an empty nester now. So I have this cat that keeps me awfully busy, and lots of friends and a wonderful life there. But yes, I definitely start every day with a double espresso. That's like my mandatory requirement to get rolling. And once I get into business mode, I'm thinking, about the last 24 hours, and the media never sleeps. So when my work yesterday is what inspires what's in the media today. So I'm often reviewing or analyzing content or trying to look at insights for social media clients or figuring out the trajectory of what my next, project is, or maybe signing on a new client. That happens frequently as well.
What about this field brings you a lot of joy?
Well, knowing that if you're an artist or you have a cultural background, you can't help but be a passionate person because it is integral to who you are as a human being. And so for me, public relations became my opportunity to take art and turn it into an applied art form for work. So am I sitting at home doing illustrations every day? Am I always at a singing rehearsal? No, but I am always in business helping people that want to do that for their career get it out there into the media. And so I feel like it allows me to still apply my creativity in my career.
I love that. So where do you see yourself going from here?
Well, it's an interesting place to be in life. Like the pandemic, put such like a pause on everybody, and I spent a lot of time trying to do bucket list things. And so during that time, I was able to spend a significant amount of time writing a cookbook, which I'm so grateful became a bestseller. And
wow,
it was very exciting. It was such a nice bucket list project, and it was primarily to allow my kids to have the recipes that they were raised on documented, so that way they'll have it for future generations. But it was another creative outlet project, right? I got to look at the design and take pictures and do recipe taste testing, and that's some of the things that I do for some of my clients now. So it was really special to have that opportunity to break out and do something fun. But for the future, I am considering writing another cookbook, which will be, again, just like a side project. I'm hoping to travel some more now that the pandemic has lifted some of the restrictions so we can get out of town. And I think I might look into some other business ventures as well. I definitely always want to do something in support of arts and culture, and I'm certainly very happy with my company as it stands now. But there's always that little itch to, what if I tried something new?
Right.
So hopefully I'll be sticking around the area though, because I really like the South Shore.
It is a beautiful area. Now, finally, I just want to ask you, out of all the things you've done, you're such a well-rounded person. What are you most proud of?
Oh, my goodness.
And it's hard because you've accomplished so much.
Well, I would say if I'm looking at over my entire life is raising 3 successful, beautiful, beloved children to be adults that are soaring in their lives and careers, that there could be nothing better than that. And I think that really is nothing else would top that. That's the very best. In my business life, to have been able to develop a company from proprietary means, where I'm actually designing the systems that make it successful. From a business standpoint, I'm pretty proud of that.
Great way to end it. Michelle, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was wonderful coming in.
For more information on McGrath PR, visit mcgrathpr.com. Chalk art can turn everyday sidewalks into colorful canvases, creating public art displays that highlight community talent. On August 19th, don't miss the chock full of fun sidewalk, chalk, and craft fair at Bandshell Park in Onset from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Featured artist Amanda Sellers invites artists of all ages and abilities to bring your imagination and join in on the fun alongside her as she creates colorful chalk masterpieces. In addition to art, there will be live music, a craft fair, and children's activities. To learn more, visit onsetbay.org or the Onset Street Painting Festival Facebook page. The Plymouth Antiquarian Society encourages you to venture over to the Hedge House lawn for a day of heirloom treasures, bargains, and more at their Antiquarian Summer Fair. On August 26th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., try your luck for a chance to win raffle prizes and take a tour of the historic 1809 Hedge House. All proceeds will support the Society's mission to preserve and share local history. For more information, visit the Society's website. Here's Tiff Phillips with all you need to know about this next installment of Pop-Up on the Local Scene.
Hi there. June is Pride Month. For many LGBTQ+ folks, this is the time in which we create spaces that make us feel seen, heard, and connected to our vibrant community. For the last 3 years, Plymouth Pride, Inc. has worked nonstop to put together Pride festivals that are inclusive, uplifting, and full of joy. In fact, it's the event that the Pop-Up Street Team looks forward to every year. Over the next few weeks, we'll be bringing you interviews from festival attendees and getting their thoughts on why Pride matters and the importance of coming together as a community to celebrate who we are. Here's Pop-Up on the Local Scene, the 3rd annual Plymouth Pride Festival.
Happy Pride!
I'm Tiff Phillips, and we're here today at Nelson Park for the 3rd annual Plymouth Pride Festival. There's going to be a lot of rainbows, a lot of sunshine, and a lot of happy faces today. Let's see what these folks have to say. I'm with Miss Michelle, who's the president of Plymouth Pride. So, 3rd annual Plymouth Pride Festival. What do you think keeps people coming back after every year?
Nikki and Becky, the Dynamo founders that got this thing going, it's just a friendly. We have a wonderful stage, and we bring a lot of good acts in. The vendors are more and more. They're taking care of essentially anything any LGBTQ person would want. And as always, it's the focus is LGBTQ services, families, and friends. So when we come in here and we see parents with their kids, and it's the way it's meant to be.
So, why do you think an organization like Plymouth Pride is so important to the community, especially now?
Now, not so much in Massachusetts. There's a lot of challenges for all queer folk nationwide. There's a lot of people in a lot of areas that are saying that there's something wrong with you. You know, there's a lot of kids, not in Massachusetts, we're very fortunate that way, but it's important right now just to emphasize that you're fine the way you are. We can help you grow as a person, or basically figure things out if there's any questioning. If you're the Q part of it, we can help you figure that out. And the services are available. You just got to point a lot of people in the right direction to let them know that they're accepted and they can get all their questions answered.
I'm with Scarlett from Tech Edge. What is Tech Edge doing here today? Celebrating?
We are sponsoring.
Oh! I take it you guys are here. You seem like a very diverse company. Is that one of your core values?
Of course, we love having everyone from every walk of life join us.
And what does it feel like to be here with your company today? Does that give you a sense of pride?
Oh, of course. I love being part of a company that treats everyone with respect and comes out and sponsors a great event like Plymouth Pride Festival.
I'm with Katie and Greg, and they're from Elevated Adventures. Tell me a little bit about your business. How did you guys get started?
We got started with outdoor yoga. I started right here at Nelson Beach, and I had outdoor yoga classes trying to bring people into nature and learn about yoga. So then we got into hiking and yoga. We brought it a step further. And the winters, everybody went back inside. So we got a studio on Court Street, and we added aerial yoga for the adventure, and we also do retreats, stand-up paddleboard yoga, which we'll be doing later today here. And we just welcome everyone. The reason we chose this venue was to show that anyone can do yoga. It's available for everyone. And we just thought this would be a great place to display our aerial and our paddleboard and where we started, where we began.
I'm with Henna by Heather. Now, can you tell me, Heather, how long have you been doing henna for?
24 years.
24 years. How did you get into it?
I started just doing it for myself because I thought it was cool, and then, long story, I ended up being asked to do it by someone else, and then it became my job.
That's awesome. So this is how you primarily make a living? You love what you do?
I do.
And what are you looking forward to most about being here today?
Oh, the crowds of people and everyone out being happy, being themselves.
Thanks, Tiff. Pronoun pins indicate gender identity and are also a vital way to foster inclusion and solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community. On August 15th, kids aged 8 to 11 are invited to the Pembroke Public Library to create their very own pin displaying their preferred identification. Use the supplies provided to make a distinctive button that expresses your own uniqueness. To register, visit the Pembroke Public Library website or call 781-293-6771. It's time to solve a mystery. On August 23rd, the Kingston Public Library invites you to the Font School in Kingston for the Sisters in Crime Mystery-Making Panel. This fast-paced interactive event will give you a behind-the-scenes look at how mystery novels are concocted with authors Nicole Asselin, Louisa Clarici, Kate Flora, and Sarah Smith. Participate in the process of brainstorming with the authors to come up with the plot, the characters, the clues, and the conclusion. The suspense starts at 6 p.m. Visit the Kingston Public Library to register. The Pembroke COA free summer concert series is still happening with 2 presentations left. On August 21st, the Play It Again band will take the stage at 5:30 p.m., performing a variety of your favorite hits, including rock, swing, Latin, and more. The summer concert series is sponsored by the Friends of the Council on Aging and is free, but you are asked to register in advance by calling the COA at 781-294-8220. Here's Tanya Peters in a performance of her original work.
Our final poet tonight is Tanya Peters. Tanya is a lifelong Cape Codder, born and raised in Falmouth, a widowed mom of 2 adult daughters. She's been a nurse for 15 years, currently working in surgery at Cape Cod Hospital. She's been writing poetry since the 2nd grade, and tonight is her first time reading her poetry to an audience. Tanya, come on out here, and welcome to continental Cape Cod.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I only brought 1 poem tonight. I didn't know that we were bringing a whole bunch, so I brought 1. It's called Refocus. Why did you have to come looking for me when all I wanted was that you'd leave me be? And I avoid any shadow of you that lingers in the street, because I can feel that pull that your mind has on me. Still, you scattered pieces of yourself into my routine, asking for me, calling, texting, making sure you were seen. And of course I lost control in that moment when I saw your face. I gave you all the benefit, no doubt. And I began to crave your presence, like somehow it was unfair to go without. So I let you in again, unzipped my heart from its enclosure, handed it right to you, and hoped you'd hold it gently and not spill it over. I stood on the edge with you and all of your beautiful words. I jump, you jump. We'll soar through life like 2 lovebirds. I closed my eyes for just a quick second to take it all in. I breathed relief from my soul to feel this type of love again. You held on tight to my hand. I smiled. I was ready. I looked straight into your eyes, but then something felt unsteady. I can see your weakness as you fumble, and all your words sound like fear. Suddenly, our vibration didn't match. It was like I can't stand what I might hear. See, the position you were given in my life was a gift that you forfeit, and the bond that we could have had was the strongest, but now you've torn it. So I let go of your hand swiftly in that moment to catch myself. I backed away from the ledge, got my balance, zipped up my heart, and focused on my health. It took a minute for me to realize that this blessing came disguised as a lesson for me. And in time, I'd see that my attachment to you was something that would lessen for me. 'Cause see, I don't have to hide my heart from the world locked in the dark. I can throw out the key, give away all my love, and still shine my spark. My spirit, my light, my beauty, all unconditionally, spread across my world, giving beautiful pieces of me. So why did you have to come looking for me, when all I wanted was that you'd leave me be? Well, I know the answer now. It's because I had to see that this beautiful life is made for one thing only, to love myself and give of myself and shine so bright that I could never be lonely. Thank you.
One of Plymouth's most popular summer events, the Plymouth Waterfront Festival, presented by the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce, is back on August 26th. Head down to the historic waterfront from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for this jam-packed community celebration. Featuring over 200 vendors and nonprofits, live entertainment, delicious food, an array of classic cars presented by Rebels and Rods, and the annual duck race at Brewster Gardens, the festival is a whole day of not-to-be-missed fun for the whole family. The Local Scene Street team will be popping up on site from 10 a.m. to noon, so stop by, say hi, and step up to the mic to talk about things that matter to you. For more details, visit PlymouthWaterfrontFestival.com. And that's what's good and good to know on the local scene this week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. We are grateful for your attention. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the local scene here and share everywhere. Thank you, friends.